Control isn't about authority. It's about regulation. When we can't regulate what we're feeling, what we're struggling with, we try to regulate everything around us. This isn't a parenting podcast. I've got 6 kids and I'm still in the middle of it. The Dad Tribes podcast is about reflection and perception, taking the weight, pressure, and struggles of fatherhood and changing how we see them so they stop breaking us and start building us. Let's dive in. All right, guys, let's talk about something that a lot of women believe, but it's not how we see it. All right, most of us men, we don't become controlling because we want power. Hell, we don't even see it as controlling. All right, we're not trying to control people. What we're trying to do as a father is control the chaos, control the responsibility, the bills, the finances, the behavior, the everything, right? We become controlling because we're under pressure. When everything feels heavy, when our world feels tight, when it feels like everything is falling apart, the instinct is to hold things together at all costs. All right, the schedules, the rules, the outcomes. And when we start trying to control this outside environment, it starts as we're just being responsible. It's our responsibility. And then somewhere along the way, it turns into distance inside of our home. And I believe we've all felt this in different seasons of fatherhood. Here's how it usually happens. We become dads and our margin disappears. Our mistakes suddenly feel expensive. Everything gets a lot heavier. So we tighten up. We plan everything. We try to anticipate every problem. We try to prevent chaos before it even happens. Not because we're selfish, and it's not because we're angry. It's because we're scared of letting things fall apart. Of course we are as fathers, right? Because our entire household is on our shoulders. They depend on us. And the tighter the pressure gets, the tighter our grip becomes, trying to keep all the pieces from breaking off and falling apart. And this is the part that nobody seems to talk about. Control doesn't feel toxic at first. It feels responsible. It feels like we're being protective, and it feels like we're doing what is necessary for our family. We say things like, we're just trying to keep things running, or we're just trying to help, or we're just trying to make sure everyone is okay. And maybe we are. But here's the quiet cost that comes with this. When everything becomes about managing the chaos, people in our house stop feeling seen and they start feeling handled. And the connection in our family slowly gives way to compliance. Right? The distance doesn't show up as direct conflict. It shows up as silence. Our kids start doing what they're told, but at the same time, we notice they stop opening up. They kind of fear having conversations with us, right? Our partner starts functioning alongside us, but it doesn't feel like they're functioning with us, if that makes sense. I mean, everything works, right? Everything works. We're controlling the chaos, but nothing in the house feels close. And we feel it. When we walk into the house, you can feel the coldness. You can physically feel the silence. And we don't always understand why. Because we're doing more than ever. We're carrying more weight. We're taking on more responsibility, but the house feels colder. And so it's frustrating for us, right? It aggravates us because it's like, look at everything I'm doing, but for some reason, my house still feels empty or cold or isolating. But here's the root of control, right? Control isn't about authority. It's about regulation. When we can't regulate what we're feeling, what we're struggling with, we try to regulate everything around us. Pressure on the inside creates order on the outside. It's not leadership, it's survival. And the problem isn't that we want control. We never want control in the way that a lot of people think that we do. The problem is nobody teaches us how to sit with that pressure without tightening our grip. You see, connection in our house doesn't come from managing the people inside of it. It comes from presence, from staying open when it would be a lot easier to clamp down, from allowing some mess in our life without seeing it as failure or as everything is falling apart. Strong leadership, what I've realized, isn't loud and it's not rigid, right? It's strong leadership comes from that leader who can stay calm under an endless amount of weight. And kids, they don't feel safest around perfect systems. They don't care about perfect systems. They feel safest around regulated men. So if we see ourselves gripping tighter lately, if everything feels like it has to be controlled to survive, it's not because we're failing. It's because we're under a lot of pressure. And what we have to realize is that pressure doesn't need dominance, it needs grounding. The moment we soften our grip, I'm not saying we have to drop our standards, without dropping our standards, is the moment that connection starts to return in the house. And it's not through force, it's through being present. I hope for those of you that are under a lot of pressure right now that feel like you have to control the chaos, I hope this hits home for you and I hope it makes sense. I'll see you in the next one.